Hey folks, welcome to another edition of Posi-TIPS with Rachelle. Last time I kicked off this series by highlighting the importance of making it happen. I told you I saw this in Louisiana recently while I was on vacation, and this just really made me smile. And I think just how true this is in life, that regardless whether we're talking about the coronavirus epidemic or any other type of adversity in life, we have to remain committed to make things happen. And so folks, I always love an opportunity. I think I typically will use this more on Fitness Fridays when I'm talking about HR type of issues. And so, I bought this steering wheel cover, my LSU branded steering wheel cover, as you'll see, last year, actually during the Christmas holidays, right after the holidays. Bought this, and it's just such a great example. And so, but anyway, it's just a great prop, pardon me. And so had to bring this out because last time I told you, took a road trip down to Louisiana. And so in the spirit of making things happen, keeping along this theme of making things happen, want to highlight something. We talk about making things happen and remaining committed to making things happen, the importance of vision, goals, and keeping whatever it is that you're remaining committed to out right in front of you. So you don't lose sight of that goal. You don't lose sight of whatever it is that you're committed to making happen. And so for me, in that trip in particular, I had planned earlier in the year, I said, okay, go to Louisiana, Memorial Day, spend some time down there, visit my parents, help out with some home improvement projects and stuff. I always do those type of things when I go to town, help them out. And so I had that plan. But then as we all know, the coronavirus really hit this country hard starting in March. And so there was a shutdown, all of this and that, so the airlines, and so ultimately it came down to an issue of not if I'm going to go to Louisiana, it's how I'm going to make this happen. Because making it happen was my goal. I had that out in front of me, didn't lose sight of that goal. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of the timing and how it's going to happen. And so I left here driving down. So that's the first time I've driven from Metro Detroit here to Louisiana. So drove down on the 19th of June and came back here on the 20th. Drove back here on the 20th of July. So I had a nice visit. But speaking of vision and speaking of goals and how it's important to keep things in front of us, in this particular case, since we're talking about a trip, I kept this out. So in around mid-May, I want to say it was mid to the second or third week of May, I actually pulled this out. So this is one of my luggage. This is I have two purple small luggages just like this, and I have a couple of really big ones for international trips. But anyway, had this out, one of my beloved purple luggages, and actually had this out, actually had it setting up against a wall where I would see it regularly. So I saw this thing constantly. And this, in my case, I was talking about travel or a trip or something like that. It was a reminder. So every time I saw it, I'm going to make this trip happen. I'm going to make this trip happen. It's only a matter of timing. It's only a matter of how. But this is, those are the two questions, how and when. But this trip is going to happen. So every time I saw this, it reminded me of that goal, of that vision I had. This trip is going to continue. How am I going to make this happen? And as I told you last time, it was a matter of air travel. So I'm going to typically fly. So in that situation, it was a question of, do I really want to fly? Because I'm going to visit two high-risk people and spend a lot of time down there with two high-risk people. Do I want to potentially expose them to this kind of situation? And so I made that decision, much like many people are just deciding to drive and take road trips. But anyway, you have to do what's best for you. But in that situation, I said, you know what? Gonna make it happen. Never driven from here to Louisiana, but I've taken distance trips. I've driven long distances before, but not from here to Louisiana. So set my plan, worked my plan, made it happen, and you can do the same. Regardless of what type of goals, what type of issues you have in your life, remain committed to making them happen. If you're really passionate about serving people and helping and giving back in the community, find ways to do that. Yes, the coronavirus has changed our how, and in many cases, our when, but our why. It needs to remain constant to say, hey, I'm committed to helping people. I'm committed to serving people. This is going to continue. This is going to happen. What do I need to do? What changes do I need to make? Am I flexible enough? Am I adaptable enough? Am I willing to look at plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E, plan F in order to make it happen? Or am I remaining, as an individual needs to ask him or herself, am I remaining so stuck on plan A, which was pre-COVID and best case scenario always worked, and that's just not realistic right now for whatever reason, regardless of whatever it is we're talking about. We've got to have the willingness to move on to plan B, plan C, plan T, plan D, plan E, F, G, all the way down to plan Z. We need to do what we need to do to make things happen. We need to do what we need to do to make things happen, folks, because it is possible. It is possible. Once we have our priorities straight, once we realize what we value, what's really important to us, and I think that one of the beneficial aspects of this form of adversity, being the coronavirus epidemic, is it has forced a lot of people to really evaluate their priorities, recognize what is important in life, and then just to reevaluate that and perhaps shuffle some things around and change some things around. To really just this coronavirus pandemic, particularly when we were just all shut down, just totally shut down, just really stopped us in our tracks to say, what am I doing? Is this working? Am I happy? Do I need to change the situation? Do I need to exit this situation? Can this situation be salvaged? Whatever the case may be. Perhaps I'm used to flying. Am I willing to drive? Am I willing to, if I'm used to visiting my neighbor who's high risk, what other ways can I serve this individual? Can I perhaps make a meal and leave it at his or her doorstep and they can just get it and we can socially distance and keep that going? But how can I remain committed to doing whatever it is that's important to me, relationships, professionally, whatever the case may be, folks? So just remain committed. I think one of the biggest challenges of this coronavirus pandemic presents to us is our willingness to remain committed, because that's adversity is going to come to all of us. I mean, there's just no exceptions. People want to look at people and say, oh, this person has a perfect life, and oh, they have this, and they have all of that. We all face various aspects of diversity, but what really separates us is how we deal with adversity. We can allow it to make us, like the old saying, are we going to allow it to make us better, or are we going to allow it to make us bitter? So no, we need to remain committed to it, to allow this coronavirus pandemic and all its unfortunate, negative, tragic consequences and then just the entire situation. How can this situation enable us to become better human beings during the process? We grow more in the valley than we do on the mountaintops. So allow it to enable us to grow. Hey, I was hitting it on the road. I was on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. It had been a long time, since I'd taken a long distance drive like that. But hey, I made it happen. It's just not a question of if something's going to happen. It's going to happen. And so we got to remain determined. You have to remain committed, folks, to just see things through. And that's all I have for you today. So keep on keeping on. Keep on making it happen. And you too will see whatever goals that you have in mind become a reality in your life. So until next time, stay safe. And remember, I am positively passionate about your happiness and success. Make it a wonderful day.